Hashtag the GES crew.
One other thing, and this is what y'all may not know. This is a little trivia. We're gonna throw this in a little trivia. So let me ask you this: Ro brought up Good Times and how they was in the ghetto and they couldn't get out. What was James' original name? His name was James on Good Time. But do you know where Good Time spun off from?
Chicago,
yeah.
No, not the state, not the city.
City.
What show did they spun off from?
Maude.
Oh no, it wasn't Maude. It was
Maude.
Yeah, because Florida was a house worker at Maude's house. So so that's what spun off from that.
So let me tell you this, because I bumped into it. I don't even know how, but I bumped into it. I think it was on YouTube, and they were showing like some of the Maude episodes where Florida was on it when Florida got hired, and then while she was there, James's name was Henry.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
He was a fireman. So something along the way, when it spun, he went from being a fireman to being this struggling father, because a fireman,
construction worker.
Well, I don't know what James.
He was a jack of all trades. That's what it was.
Wash,
wherever he could find work at, that's what he was.
And Maude, Henry, which was James, was a fireman. His whole thing was, Florida, you ain't got to work. I want you to come home. You got to be here cleaning white people's house, But somehow in the transition, when it went to the next show, they changed it from him being a fireman, because that's middle class. It would have been a different show.
Yeah.
It would have been a different show. Because, looking at Good Times, the imagery of Good Times, the family dynamic was important while James was there. But I'm going to say I enjoyed Good Times. Don't get me wrong. But as far as helping the community to think a little further, it didn't help in that capacity. I enjoyed the entertainment value and the comedy.
Now, as far as the struggle, I agree. But the moral lessons that it taught, it was boundless, because of the fact that it gave them a look to see, well, this is wrong doing this, and the implications that come behind it. So I can't ever say, because we always say it's gems in there, just like Rose said with
it's definitely some
but shoot,
gems,
it was just lessons in there in that show that you can never take away. Even just like Cosby, Yeah, he was his striving for that upper class. Yes, I agree. But the moral lessons that he taught his kids and showing them a archetype of what they could reach and strive for was one of the best things that ever came on TV.
Yeah. I think the global lesson from Good Times is don't let your circumstances define you. And I think Good Times always gave Florida herself, her character. She was always the one who was inspiring and pushing hope amongst those three. As silly as JJ was, you have a talent. Focus on your talent and don't give up on your dreams. Thelma, you got a brain. Go to college and do what you need to do. Michael, be the activist that you need to be. Make sure you get all the knowledge you can get so that'll prepare you for, that global lesson of Good Times, man. Don't let your circumstances define you. Your circumstances is not a reflection of who you are. That's just where you are. And I think, that is more important. I think that was more important at that period of time for our community than, not taking nothing away from the Cosby Show. And because it was a lot of lessons that, Bill and them taught in that show. But I just think the overall, and Florida's faith, faith wasn't, that wasn't talked about on TV. And showing a Black Christian household on TV at that time, you know, that was huge and major, you know. So it's those lessons. A lot of those things got overlooked besides the Black Jesus episode. You know what I mean? That, besides that episode, but just her faith, man, to bring, and her James and JJ were ready to jump on whatever train they could get on to get out the hood. But her being strong in her faith, if it wasn't right, they didn't need to do it. She kind of held it together, and that was depicted the family at that time. You know what I mean?
Back in it goes with time too, because you got to understand, like in the 60s, we didn't have that many Black shows, but we had Julia and we had the Mod Squad.
Oh, yeah.
And we had different, black and white shows back then. Anytime we see any of our people on that show, we thought we did something great. It was always a feeling to us that we succeeded as a fan. And I remember there was times like Nat King Cole couldn't even get sponsors. And he was the first one to hold that had a talk show or a show like the late night shows like they have now. He was the first African-American that ever did that. And he couldn't even get sponsors to keep his show going. So we had the 60s and we had to take all that. Then we had the 70s with Good Times and all those shows that was there, Sanford and Son and stuff like that. We had to take that, but you got to look at the timelines that this happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the more we move on, even though we started here, like Drake say, now we here. We're trying to get there. You know what I'm saying? I think that we just keep, pull our kids into more acting classes if they have talents, if they're artists or something like that. I think it'll help a lot as far as, new talent concerned, because we do have Tyler Perry. We also have Tyler Perry's people who are starting new shows, and he's independent. He's not in the union or anything. So I think that it's going to be good, especially in Atlanta, because that's where I live at. And the entertainment business is growing. I work in the hotel business. I see stars every day. I see so many stars that I'm like almost used to it now. If I tell my cousins or my friends, I used to tell them who I saw, they say, yeah, all right, yeah, okay.
Right. One thing I wanted to bring up, because Ro, you made a very good point about the moral part from Good Times. But one thing we always got to be aware of when we watch content is the subliminal message behind it. Because although the moral implications that it presented and the structure that it was provided from a family standpoint, subliminally, you know what it taught? No matter how hard, how just, how good you are, how much you believe, you're not going to get ahead.
That's if that's what you're looking at.
No. Subliminal is not what you're looking at, is what is being given under the underlying thing that's presented to you. Because look, Keith married Thelma married Keith from the Chicago Bears, NFL player. They getting out the ghetto. They getting out the ghetto.
Then he got hurt.
And at the wedding, JJ trips Keith and breaks his leg, and it's over, and they right back in the hood. What happens next? Keith start drinking. Keith smacked Thelma. Look at the messaging behind that. Now, I'm not saying on the surface, and I'm not saying it's great things in Good Times. All I'm saying is that if you were to analyze this from a psychological standpoint, it tells you no matter how good, how moral, how hard you work, how much of a family you present together, you don't get ahead. We never saw them out of the ghetto.
If that's how you look
never even took a house tour.
But it's all about perspective. My fault, Sean, but it's all about perspective. From a pessimistic point of view, then that's what you'll see. From an optimistic point of view, you're going to see the other side.
It's not about the surface.
No. He's right, because it's either it's your cup half empty or half full. Right. You know what I mean? That's how it's what you extrapolate from whatever you watch. It's never always. I understand what you're saying, and because how you view life is how you going to view whatever you watch. So
Exactly.
that's
It's
what
not,
that's the
but
whole
y'all
point
don't
of
understand what
why
I'm
we
saying.
that's the point why we having this
Exactly
conversation.
Y'all don't
what you're
understand what
saying.
no.
I
Y'all are
understand.
saying, look,
I'm
I
saying
love
it.
Good Times. I gravitate to the messages, but that's what's in front of you, and that's what you dissect personally. That's what you dissect personally.
That's
but
what
to
they want
watch
you to
it
see.
and to look, it's what you subliminal is underlying. It's your subconscious.
But
What your
when
subconscious gets from that show is that no matter how good, no matter how faithful, no matter how loyal, no matter how family oriented, you don't get ahead. And if you can't understand that,
but understand this. Did you see James in Florida break up? Totally go say, hey, I'm done with this nigga. He ain't making no money. He's not doing nothing. I'm done. I'm gone.
no, Florida,
But
I got to give it big up to her because she was a wife. Florida was a wife. Okay, but go ahead. I'm sorry, I just had to say that.
But I mean, that's my thing. You looking at the big picture, and that's your perspective, and nothing is wrong with that. We all can sit up here and say, yeah, they didn't make it, but it's extrapolating the good that came from the being together as a family, as a unit. And as far as us being the color we are, to see something like that, even in the struggle, is a good thing. That's always a good thing.
And Sean, this is the thing. This is the part about it. Big, everything you said was true about what you saw in the show, about what it showed. Everything is true from the oppressor's point of view. That's what the oppressor is trying to impress on you. That is what they're trying to put in front of you, right? If you look through all of that, that's not the subliminal. That's on the surface.
Right.
The subliminal is how they stood together and came together, and no matter what differences of opinion they had, whether her set of values different from James, at the end of the day, they came together for the greater good of the family.
You know what we're gonna do?
And hold on 1 second.
I'm sorry.
Hold
Go
on
ahead.
1 second. And despite all of that, everybody is not gonna make it out. Everybody's not gonna make it out of them circumstances. Sometimes life just gives you lemons. It's up to you to make the lemonade. It's up to you to be able to decipher all the surface stuff and find the glass half full mentality of where you are. We're going to make the most of it. Above all things, no matter what, no matter obstacles, no matter negative circumstances, no matter misses, we still going to tack this thing together, and we're going to remain a unit. We're going to remain husband and wife. We're going to remain parents, and our children are going to stick together. And we still, no matter what, going to steal the hope and push them, continue to push them forward. That's the subliminal right there.
I mean, that was the message. No, that was the direct message.
No.
What would you rather? Let's ask this. Let me ask you this question right quick. Okay, before you go, let me ask you this question right quick. Okay. What is more important to you in your life in a whole? Say for instance, you lived a pretty good life. You live comfortably. You got you have a good you had a good income and everything. You got pretty much what you wanted. All right, what's good to your character or the struggling or the climb to get to where you were? What would be more beneficial to you?
Results. See, to me, if you're not getting results, all the other stuff really don't matter.
You don't know because you don't know who you're gonna come across that will assist you and push you into that higher level because of the fact that your character gave you the means and the pathway to get to where you need to go.
Let me just say this. In real life, if you focus, you get where you're going. On Good Times, it got you nowhere. And that was the message of that. Look, we're going to have a psychologist up here to continue this conversation.
Yeah, because they're going to have a sit down with you.
We're going to table this situation. We're going to come back. Yeah. And we're going to have a psychologist come up here, and we're going to talk about this in depth because this is important. Look, we're going to have to talk about subliminals. Look, the reason why people go buy popcorn and sodas at the movie is because they put it at the beginning of the show during the previews and all this stuff. They keep, look, we have to become an understanding of what's happening to us when we don't know what's happening to us. I'm just saying.
No, I just know you go drive home your point. You gonna drive home your point. You just gonna drive home your point.
I'm sorry.
You're not going to be.
There's no need for me to budge because you know what? Let me say you this. I didn't see no harder working people than James in Florida, and they got nowhere.
But that wasn't the point.
They got
that
nowhere.
Wasn't the point of the show. You just extract like
it. To show people in the damn hood forever. Was that the point of the show? It was the highest level of oppression in that show, bro.
Okay, so
now look, don't get me wrong.
Can we
Dahmer was amazing to watch.
Can we move forward?
As a young lad.
Can we move forward? Can we move forward?
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead. We will come back to this with a psychologist, and we're going to discuss this further for the audience because I know it's got to be at least 25, 30% of the people out there with me. I'm going to say it's 50% of the people rolling with me on.
All right, so
I digress.
Now, all right. Thanks again for watching our show. If you like this week's episode, check out these here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And hit that bell notification, because that bell notification lets you know when there's an up-and-coming episode. So until then, peace.